Hello viewers, this has got to be the most silly, stupid, ridiculous daily race I've seen in a long time. This is it. We're racing the Alpha Executive Lounge around Monza without the chicane. This can only go horrifically. I've done zero practice, so I have no idea what I'm doing. Doesn't really make for a change there then. Let's see what all manner of carnage is about to happen as we hurtle towards not the normal first chicane, but the Della Roger chicane is going to be the first one now, which really only postpones the absolute anarchy which is about to ensue here. Let's take a look. 16 big chungus vans heading towards this braking zone. Let's see what's going to happen then, shall we? Oh, there's already been caught. Oh my god, there's someone facing perpendicular to the wall. I've been hit from behind. What is going on here? Have we gained a position? We're up into P9 now. Looking up the inside here of Brit Chris 001. And, oh, goodness me. I don't know what kind of speed he's carrying in there. As we head through Lesmo 1 towards Lesmo 2. We've got an Italian looking up the inside on home turf, and I'm able to stay ahead and actually pull away nicely from that almighty group behind. At the cost of a penalty, I did cut the second Lesmo there. Serving the penalty dropped me off that group in front quite sizably, which was deeply frustrating around a track like this because you really do need the slipstream. However, on lap number 2, my good friend Brit Chris 001 also had a penalty, so I was able to catch back up with him at least. Now, it seems that this race is really determined by your speed through that lap 1, if you're going to make it through the chaos, alive or dead. And on this occasion, well, I kind of didn't, well, I was half dead, let's put it that way. And so I was quite a way off this leading battle. Now Brit Chris with a big lunge there, and I took that as an excuse to cut the chicane, cut the chicken. And fortunately enough for me, the stewards were looking the other way as I did not receive a penalty. But they were turning back for this one because, well, this guy hit me a little bit wide. I thought, you know what, we're going to try it again. And the stewards were like, no mate, you can't do that. 2.5 seconds, mate. You're going to have to slow down and hand back the time gained, which is exactly what I did here. Right at the end of the race. So humiliating. Going down from P7 back to P8, P9. And what can only describe as a disastrous first race. Well, that was an unmitigated disaster. We're going to have to go again. Now, obviously, I didn't win because I didn't have a good livery on the car. So let's put on the RAC Breakdown Recovery livery. Alright, here we go, guys. Let's do this one properly. Yes, race number 2. We're trying to do the boys and girls back at the RAC factory. Very proud indeed. With an amazing performance here. The Frenchman there. Going initially too early, then too late. Couldn't make his mind up. Loses a lot of positions, goes way down to the back of the pack. Now, as I kind of touched upon just a moment ago, I feel like this race really pivots on your luck through this first chicane. Do you die, or do you live to tell the tale and gain many positions? That is the eternal question. I go a little bit wide here, but if anything, it drops me out of the danger zone as we head into the brakes here. So let's take a look once more at Exhibit A, which is basically a zoo of many wild animals doing many stupid things, crashing in various configurations. And I've just gone from 15th up to 7th in one chicane. We're going to look for another position here. And a very aggressive drive here. We're going to chop across Richard just behind, Richard Millhouse, leaving him no quarter at all. And I'm up into 6th place here, guys, with the Swiss driver there with a 5.5 second penalty. Up behind VDub 1987. Now, he didn't want to get in the slipstream of the van in front, which was really annoying. It's like, bro, just get in the slipstream, let's work together and try and catch back up. But he was more determined just to fight for P5 on the first lap. So as we head through the parabolica here, I thought, well, on the main straight, okay, I'm going to bump you. Get in the slipstream and we can catch up. Fortunately enough, we did that. Catching up here with the DHL driver, who's slightly late for his delivery, but driving here at great pace down the back straight, 130 miles an hour nearly. So it says that excellent, simply delivered. But is he going to simply deliver an amazing chicane here? Let's see. He's on the outside, up against VW 1987. I'm just trying to pick a line. I'm not sure which side to go. I'm going to try it around the outside. Don't really want to put myself in this position. And it was a good job I didn't, as the VW gets run wide and we actually get pushed into this overtake, which was actually really useful. And I go up into P4. So that was actually good decision making there by the RAC squad. Boys and girls back at the factory screaming in elation at that. DHL comes back for another move, and he really is late for his delivery now. He needs to get into the pit lane and get off the track because someone's parcel is late. But this turned out to be one of the most iconic drag races of our time. DHL up against RAC on the main straight at Monza. You're never going to see a battle quite like this. This was just absolutely incredible. The Tifosi were going absolutely wild. Hysterics in the crowd at such an incredible race here. In fact, Kevin74 comes weighing in just to join and make this an even more incredible duo, trio I should say. And he's around the outside, and that was a very brave attempt, but it's not quite going to work out for him. But on the final lap I was able to go quite close to the closerer with a 2:10.8 and set my own fairly quick lap with a low 2 minutes 11. Okay, 4th place from 14th on the grid. It's all about that start. That was just such a stupid start. I think if you're in the middle, it's just guaranteed death. Right, let's jump into that replay and witness the carnage. I've got to say, these vans are actually pretty quick. They've got some good power. They're not sluggish at all. This was a very silly mistake here at the beginning. But if anything, it got me out of the firing line. How do we explain this? I mean, it was a good job I got the RAC breakdown livery, because I'm sure there are a lot of breakdowns here. I mean, this guy is like facing literally perpendicular to the racing line. I mean, how do you even do that? This guy's had a meeting with Barrier. Nice little rendezvous. So the AA van's taking a nice line there, actually. Probably the only one. Everyone's really crowding for this inside line. We move it on a little bit more, and I mean, this is not an ideal situation when you have an ambulance parked sideways on the racing line. What does that say there? For life-threatening emergencies, it's 999. Well, it looks like he is just about to need an ambulance, ironically enough. DHL, excellent, simply delivered by cutting the course. Don't know what this monster guy is doing. I mean, why is he out here? Okay, so let's go on board with the ambulance. Coming down here in P2. On the outside. He's going to lose it on the curb. Bit of contact. Gets a hit from behind. Ambulance in the gravel. Let's see how I went from 15th to about 5th. Ghosted through those guys. That guy's reversing. Ambulance is the wrong way. Go around him. This guy ghosts out. I mean, the amount of crimes against humanity we have just witnessed here, guys. Monza turn 1, oh my goodness. People need to go to prison for this. Yes, many people need to go to jail. Many crimes against humanity were being committed on that chicane. It really was quite awful. And then I committed my own crime against humanity by cutting the chicane on this qualifying lap. And that was the only chance I had. So I was going to once again start at the back of the pack, as you can see here. P12 out of 16. So once again, it's really a case of, can we survive that first corner? Let's take a look, shall we? As we head up behind the Asda delivery driver. It seems as though we've got lots of delivery drivers somewhat lost. It looks like their Google Maps is telling them the wrong way. They've inadvertently ended up in a race as we hurtle into this first braking zone. Oh my goodness, what's going on? lots of cars, I say cars, vans wide. I'm going to get run wide into the gravel. Then the AA just in front. And oh my goodness, there's the police just in front. I've tried to run a guy wide with the police just in front of us. And this could be a very interesting battle here between the AA and the RAC. Huge rivals, not only on the circuit, but in business as well. And then the Fedex driver comes out of nowhere, also late for his delivery, and lunges up the inside. It really is quite incredible. I mean, where are you going to see FedEx delivery drivers lunging it on the police with the RAC in there for good measure? As we head into the Ascari chicane, done the FedEx driver, sold him for chips, mugged him off there. But I think that's going to be a penalty. I did cut the corner. Yes, it is. RAC penalised for that one. On lap number 2, I'm going to serve the penalty. That's going to drop me off quite a sizable amount here. Really unfortunate. So this race was very much a tale of recovery, I think is the word. As we didn't quite get the rub of the green on that initial opening lap. And so we're going to have to do the hard work in the race itself. So going back past the FedEx driver here, who's having a bit of a mare, must be said, into the Della Roger, lap number 3. It looks like the two Toyotas there, well, I say everyone's in the Toyota, but they've specifically got the Toyota livery, the racing livery. So the Toyota factory squad here entering some factory entries into this race. I mean, you see manufacturers taking this race very seriously indeed. And it's good to see. It's fantastic stuff. Now a bit later on in lap number 3 here, once again catching up with the Toyota squad, and once again this Asda delivery driver who makes an absolute hash of the exit of the Ascari. So we're going to go past them. This guy's going to serve a penalty, and that's going to put me onto the tail and the slipstream of our good friend here, Richard _Millhouse_, as we head towards the final corner. Lots of battling up in front, as you can probably see. Smoke being thrown up into the air for this battle for P6. Yes, that's right, we could get 6th place here, guys. After all of the setbacks in this race so far, 6th place is on the cards. You never quite know. So we're going to do a bit of bum drafting here, work with the Toyota factory driver here as he goes a bit wide. 5 cars battling, 5 vans battling for supremacy as we head into the braking zone. Look for the 150 board. There it is. Brake a bit before this guy. I don't know what he's doing. He's not quite seen me on the outside. The AA makes contact. Oh my god, who's this guy? He's the monster car. Come out of nowhere. And now we're battling for P5. And there's about 8 of us fighting here. Into Lesmo 1. This surely cannot end well for all of us. This is going to end badly. In fact, I see one car on the radar dropping off and sliding into the shadow realm. And I'm into 7th up the inside here. Am I going to gain this position? Yes, I am. Against the Asda delivery driver. I think Asda really need to renew their policies about who they hire. This guy was a bit too aggressive. And he's not getting his deliveries done. So people are going without their groceries a little bit too long. And that's really quite disgusting behaviour. As we head into the braking zone of Ascari. Not much in terms of visibility when you're right behind the van in front. Very difficult to see. And so on the exit here into the final corner, running as close as I possibly can. Is it going to be close enough to get this overtake for P6? Unfortunately on this occasion it isn't. I'm going to have to settle for 7th, and that was rather disappointing, I must say. It was quite close, but it was a good fight back ultimately. Oh man, bottom line is I'm going to have to qualify if I want to have a decent result. The first chicane is just too much of a lottery in this race. Okay, let's jump into this qualifying lap, and this was going to be really important. I needed to get towards the low 211s or maybe into the 210s if I wanted to be towards the front of the pack. And in a vehicle as slow as this, I mean, it isn't actually too slow. It actually goes in a straight line quicker than I thought it would, 130 miles an hour down the straight. But it is quite cumbersome, and it is slow in terms of all of the cars in this game. And therefore it's really about carrying speed through the corner and making sure you don't overslow the car. 2:11.3 on that first lap, which was a good lap, but I knew I could go quicker, and it was really about, again, as I say, carrying the speed, and I was able to do that a lot better through here. Off the brake nice and early, on the power early. Look at that improvement. Up against the Ghost, already half a second in front as we head into Lesmo 1. We can definitely get into the 2-minute 10s here if we finish this lap off in good fashion. Lesmo 2, a crucial corner, because it does lead onto a sizable straight here. And that was a good exit, I would say. Once again, gaining on the Ghost, 8 tenths up now. So this could be well into the 210s, perhaps even a mid 210. But here, I was 1 second up. So I gained like 4 tenths on that one straight by getting a good exit. How about this one? Ascari, nice and tidy through there. Maximising the track limits and gaining on the exit as well. 1.1 seconds up as we head into Parabolica, the final corner on the lap. Quite tricky to get this one right. I would say that was not a bad line. Not perfect, as we do lose a bit of time on the exit. But as we cross, this is going to be a very low 210, and I was actually incredibly surprised by how high up this was on the leaderboard. 210th lap, that should be me towards the front, I would have thought. I was only a few tenths away. I'm 3 tenths away from the top 10 in the world. That was 48th in the world, that lap. Not bad at all. Boom, there we go, guys. Pole position. We've got to bring home the victory for the RAC factory squad. Let's do it. So that was an impeccable qualifying lap. Once again, boys and girls back at the factory, setting up this machine in fine fashion. Now, there's a bit of driver error here at the start. Not getting the best initial launch. Fortunately enough for me, an ambulance came and bump drafted me. And so I got the run against the fake taxi. And where can you see a race like this? RAC against ambulance against fake taxi, with some Asda and DHL delivery drivers and even the police added in for good measure. You're not going to see this one too often. And that's why this race really made for some hilarious viewing, it must be said. Right, into the chicane then. Let's try and get this braking point dead right. We are not going to be challenged on this occasion, and we're not actually going to get rammed, which was optimal, should we say. Trying to pull away here. If I can get out of the slipstream range, that is going to be so important. Of course, a track like this, Monza, without the initial chicane, it really is about getting in the slipstream. And of course, with a vehicle such as this, so large as it is, with horrific aerodynamics, then, you know, punching a hole in the air for the other vehicles behind is not ideal. You are going to be slowing yourself down, and they are going to be able to catch you up. So I need to try and get this gap up, but it wasn't quite possible, because at the front of the pack, believe it or not, the other drivers are quite quick. So the ambulance driver here, I mean, it's no surprise that the ambulance driver knows how to go quick. So this was always going to be a difficult challenge, as we're going to cover the inside. Ambulance driver knows all about bump drafting, so doesn't really fancy going around the outside, and I think that's quite a sensible decision. In many ways, it kind of harks back to the special stage Route X race we had a couple of weeks ago, where in many ways you kind of just have to stay in the line and bump draft in order to preserve your position rather than go for a move and then lose 2 positions. Right, into the chicane, covering the inside once again. This is always going to be a difficult race to maintain position, given the slipstream advantage of the vehicles behind, of the vans behind. And so, at the end of lap 2, I'd done enough until this moment, running slightly wide on the exit of Parabolica, and that's going to give the ambulance the run on the right hand side, and crucially that's going to be the inside for Curva Grande. And once again, the Tifosi going absolutely wild at the sight of the RAC drag racing an ambulance, with a fake taxi of all taxis coming in to help bump draft, assist the ambulance in this incredible race. And there it is, confirmation of the bump draft. And the fans in absolute hysterics, as now I move down into P3, almost into the grass, Vettel style, through Curva Grande, looking for our braking marker board into this corner. I'm not going to read out what that says on the back of that car. I'm sure you can judge that for yourself. Hopefully this video stays monetized. Anyway, at the end of lap number 3, we have 1 lap remaining in this race. Bump drafting the fake taxi into the ambulance. We're going to try and go through here. On the left-hand side, the ambulance is left in the dust. Say goodnight, my friend, as we're going to push the fake taxi into the lead. How am I going to go about getting this lead back? I'm not sure. This is an incredible tactical battle between the 3 of us. And, you know, this is surely up there with the greatest races of all time around Monza, which is just incredible. And here, I pull over to the right, and I must say sorry to the ambulance for punting them on the way into this braking zone. And I really just don't get the exit that I was really looking for out of the chicane. So the ambulance is actually going to overtake me here on the right hand side. Is there any chance of a reply here? He makes a bit of a hash of the Lesmo 1. I feel like we have to play the long game here. I'm going to have to bump him back. We're going to have to play the slipstream game and hope that something happens towards the final corner. However, here, pushing a bit too hard, overdriving the machine. Perhaps the tyres are overheating at this point. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to catch back up and win this race. I really do apologise to the RAC factory squad fans out there. But it was a very close battle between the 3 of us, and the top 2 actually changed position just a few meters before the finish line. That was so close at the end. 0.017 between the top 2 guys there. The ambulance winning it. Guys, it's midnight now. I need to go to sleep. This race was fun. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.